The death toll in Gaza continues to climb as Israeli airstrikes intensified overnight, with at least 30 Palestinians killed in a series of attacks targeting what the Israel Defense Forces (IDF) claimed were militant positions. However, eyewitnesses and health officials on the ground described widespread destruction in densely populated civilian areas, with many of the dead being women and children. According to the Gaza Health Ministry, dozens more were injured, some critically, when missiles struck homes, apartment buildings, and shelters. The most disturbing reports suggest that Israeli drones are now deploying missiles packed with nails, a tactic experts say is designed to maximize casualties through shrapnel. Images from the blast sites show blood-smeared walls, shredded furniture, and bodies bearing deep lacerations consistent with metal fragments. Nail-filled missiles, a new layer of horror. Residents and first responders described horrific scenes. It wasn't just a missile. It exploded and released hundreds of nails in all directions, said one paramedic. People were torn apart. It was like a scene from a nightmare. Human rights groups, including Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, have expressed grave concern over the use of such weaponry in urban settings, while Israel insists it targets Hamas militants. Critics argue that such indiscriminate weapons cannot be justified in civilian dense zones. The use of nail-packed drones amounts to collective punishment and potentially a violation of international law, said a spokesperson for the UN Human Rights Office. It turns homes into death traps. Intensifying conflict. The escalation comes after an Israeli church was reportedly attacked by unidentified assailants earlier this week, killing 3. In response, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to strike with full force, escalating military operations in northern and central Gaza. Israeli forces said they destroyed underground tunnel networks and killed several Hamas operatives, but did not directly address reports of civilian casualties or the nature of their drone payloads. Meanwhile, Hamas issued a defiant statement, promising retaliation and urging Palestinians to resist the siege and slaughter by all means necessary. This is not just war, this is extermination, a Hamas official told Al Jazeera. Mounting humanitarian crisis. Gaza's hospitals are on the brink of collapse, already overwhelmed by weeks of bombardment. The ongoing blockade has severely limited medical supplies, fuel, and clean water. Doctors at Al-Shifa hospitals say they are operating with flashlights and battery-powered machines and are forced to choose which patients live or die. The UN has called for an immediate ceasefire and access for humanitarian aid. The scale of destruction is unbearable. Children are dying, families are buried under rubble, and entire neighborhoods have been wiped off the map, said a UN Relief and Works Agency (UNRWA) official. International response, international reaction remains mixed, while European nations like France and Spain have urged Israel to show restraint. The United States reaffirmed Israel's right to self-defense, but expressed concern over the rising civilian toll. We call for de-escalation and urge both sides to avoid further loss of innocent lives, said U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, while avoiding direct criticism of Israel's military tactics. Meanwhile, in capitals across the world, protests erupted demanding an end to the violence. Demonstrators in London, Berlin, and Jakarta carried signs reading, "Stop the slaughter" and "Gaza under siege." The road ahead as the violence spirals, fears grow that the region could plunge into a broader war. With Egypt and Qatar attempting to mediate a truce, hopes for a ceasefire remain uncertain. For now, civilians bear the brunt of a brutal conflict, one where each explosion not only kills but sends nails flying into the lives of those who remain, leaving both physical and psychological scars that may never fully heal.